Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. And I know, this is going to seem like I'm beating a dead horse here. Humans this, humans that, mono-white humans, blue-white humans, now green-white humans. The thing is, no matter what decks I try, humans, in some form or another, is what I keep coming back to, because for me, thus far, it has proven to be the most consistent archetype to play on Magic Duels right now. Not only that, but it is indeed very powerful. What green gives us that mono white and blue does not is some utility and card advantage through Duskwatch Recruiter, putting creatures into your hand, and Tireless Tracker, making clues that let us draw. We're just going to go through the rest of the deck list really quickly here and just get right into some gameplay, okay? We are running 1 Kithion, Hero of Akros, 3 Expedition Envoy, 2 Hanweir Militia Captain, 2 Thalia's Lieutenant, 2 Knight of the White Orchid, 3 Duskwatch Recruiter, 3 Lambholt Pacifist, 2 Declaration in Stone, 3 Rabid Bite, 1 Nissa Vastwood Seer, 2 Tireless Tracker, 3 Citadel Castellan, 2 Always Watching, 2 Make a Stand, 2 Kithion's Irregulars, 1 Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, 1 Archangel Avacyn. The mana base is 13 plains, 8 forests, 2 Canopy Vista, and 2 Sun Petal Grove. That's it, short and sweet, and now on to the gameplay. Alright, this is very keepable, and I'm going to do just that. We'll lead off with Canopy Vista into Duskwatch Recruiter. Then, depending on what our opponent plays, looks like Vampiric Rites there, we will probably be dropping Citadel Castellan before we play Thalia's Lieutenant. Alright, not super thrilled to see yet another forest in my hand. If it was going to be another land, I would much rather it have been one that could produce some white mana, as we do have several double white costs in the deck. Alright, that being one of them right there. Well, let's go ahead and play out our recruiter here. Looks like we may be up against Orzhov Control, maybe Abzan, just depending. Not seeing anything besides the black and the white. Maybe allies here. There's Drana's Emissary. That thing can be a pain in the backside. And now I need to decide whether I'm going to play out Thalia's Lieutenant or the Citadel Castellan. If I play out the Castellan, I can't really afford to swing with the Duskwatch Recruiter. If I play out the Lieutenant, I can, and then the next turn, I can start dropping more humans to pump up the Lieutenant itself. Actually, I do have a second Duskwatch Recruiter in hand. I may be right here to just go ahead and offer this Recruiter up for trade. Let's go ahead and do that, see what our opponent opts to do. Looks like they are going to take it. That's even better for us. We can go ahead and drop our Citadel Castellan. This is going to allow us next turn to drop Duskwatch Recruiter into Thalia's Lieutenant. Hopefully we are not going to get Languished here, although Languished doesn't superly combine well with an allies deck. That doesn't mean our opponent couldn't be playing it. They are for sure playing Read the Bones here. Alright, and we're getting attacked. This Drana's Emissary is a small sort of life gain for our opponent, and life loss for us, and it looks like they are not making the 4th land drop. That's pretty good for us. We will go ahead, play a forest, and risk the overextension. They could be sandbagging a second black source in a Languish. I'm hoping that's not the case. Sometimes you just gotta put the pedal to the metal and hope that you get there. This will take our Citadel Castellan out of Languish range, in any rate. So even if they have the Languish, we will have one creature that will survive it. Alright, probably Duskwatch Recruiters getting declared. There's 2 of them there. Not too awfully salty about that. And it appears that they are still stuck on 3 lands. Alrighty then. Would love to hit a second white source here. Let's go ahead and sack a clue. There's a Castellan. Guess I can't really pass that up. Go ahead and play it, pump up our Thalia's Lieutenant, and swing in for 7. Could have just held back and sacked the second clue, but this, giving us another creature and making the Thalia's Lieutenant worth a point more of damage this turn, was enough to sway me from that course of action. Reprisal, gonna eat this Castellan probably, yep. And they continue to swing. I wouldn't be quite so sure that this is going to get you there. You don't even have the mana that's required to activate Vampiric Rites. Let's try again for a white source. And we got it. So, Gideon. And make an emblem. And we'll go ahead and swing out for the win here. And I will see you guys in the next game. Okay. Well, we are lacking green mana here. I don't think we can keep this hand. It's just too iffy as is. Go ahead and mulligan that. That's a lot better. We'll keep that. Though it is a bit slower, since we're not going to be playing a first turn Expedition Envoy. And potentially not anything on turn 2 either. I'd rather not drop the Thalia's Lieutenant naked if I can help it. If we can top deck a 2-drop here, that would be the best case scenario for us. Okay, we did not. And we will be passing. I could drop the Thalia's Lieutenant, intending to just pump it up with the back-to-back Citadel Castellans, but that is less than optimal for us. Okay. Well, we are playing against green-white, but they are not running all humans. It appears there's an elf druid. Duskwatch Recruiter would have been nice last turn. Turn too late, as it were. Drop Citadel Castellan. See what our opponent can muster. Our plan next turn, if things stay pretty much as they are, is Duskwatch Recruiter into Thalia's Lieutenant. Alright, they're going ahead and swinging, representing pump or some kind of combat trick. We are not going to block, just in case. And they go ahead and tap down, that's fine. Bryn Wingmare doesn't bother me too awfully much. And we will do as we had planned. Recruiter. And Lieutenant. And they can kill this Castellan when it swings if they want to, but it will cost them their Sylvan Advocate to do so. Seems that they think that that is in their best interest. And I would definitely rather kill the advocate at this point. Okay. See what else that they are working with here. Lamholt Pacifist, okay. Lamholt is just a good all-around 2-drop, both on offense and defense. So they are running an aggressive build. There's Expedition Envoy as well. I think that we probably want to rabid bite the pacifist. So we will do that. And we are going to swing with just the recruiter. Could have offered the Thalia's lieutenant for trade with the envoy. I would rather not do that at this point. Shoulder to shoulder, that's pretty good as well. Bolster there. Not really bolster. Support, I think, is the key word there. So we are taking 6. Taking us to 10. We can't really race this as it sits at present. Lamholt Pacifist does help a bit, though. And so we will go ahead and play Pacifist into Castellan, allowing us to swing for 6. Alrighty. Here we come. And now we may be in the position that we could race. If they crack for 6, it will take us to 4. That is, if we don't block at all. Then they have 1 blocker, so they could block a 3 power creature and take 8, and that would not be enough to kill them. They're only swinging with the Wingmare, though, so we don't even have to worry about making those choices. There's another Castellan. So we will play that, which will pump our Thalia's lieutenant, also allowing us to attack with the Lamholt Pacifist. And we are going to swing out, since we have 2 creatures back on defense, thanks to the vigilance of Citadel Castellan. Okay, trading with Duskwatch Recruiter. Yep, there we go. We will go ahead and activate the Recruiter before he dies. And get nothing. Finish. Castellan will become renowned. Our opponent at 6, us at 7. Us with a much better board than they have. Oath of Gideon will help a bit. Give them 2 blockers. They did unfortunately have to pay an extra mana for that. Vryn Wingmare affects them as well as it does us. They must have something else. Otherwise, swinging with this Wingmare is really not a good idea, especially when we have things like Declaration and Stone. Huh. Well, whatever. We will take care of these guys. And our opponent says that's enough. We will swing for the win. Okay, this is a super aggressive hand. I think I like it a lot. Hopefully, we will not get destroyed in spite of it. Okay, opponent leading off with Canopy Vista. We will be leading off with Plains Kithion. I am actually really happy to see that second Plains there. And I would like either a Always Watching or another land to play Kithion's irregulars. So next turn is going to be Lamholt Pacifist. Then, if we can manage to top deck a fourth land, we will be going Lamholt Pacifist, Thalia's Lieutenant. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Looks like Kithion is getting bounced. Our opponent may be playing some form of tempo here. Well, it's going to give out a little bit of information, but I think dropping a Lamholt Pacifist is a better play than replaying Kithion here. And so next turn will be Lamholt into Kithion. Alright, actually, it may be better to go Kithion into Thalia's Lieutenant. Yes, I think that's what I want to do. Go ahead and get the beatdown machine started. We will play the Lieutenant, which is going to pump our Pacifist and allow us to start swinging. Alright, here she comes. She's a man-eater. 80s lyrics. Alright, so Tireless Tracker's doing his thing. And our opponent does decline to swing with it. Our 5/5 can safely swing here. And with Make a Stand, we can actually successfully just swing out and flip Kithion if we would like to. And I do think we would. So here we go. Oops, something from the opponent. Pausing the game there. Void Grafter, okay. Giving that hexproof. I don't think that really changes anything for us. We're still going to come with the team. Okay, cast Make a Stand. This is going to be a bit of a blowout here. And they say that's it. I'm actually not sure that that's completely game. It most likely is, but I'm going to continue just to see what goes down here. We are going to untap this guy and make him slash it or her slash the wolf indestructible till next turn, and we'll play our land. I mean, in all fairness, that probably is game over for the opponent at this point. But, see, they bounced our Planeswalker, so they are not totally out of it. They are, however, for sure taking 6, and actually taking 8 here, because we are going to go Kithion, which we may not want to do. I could drop the Pacifist, getting 1 more point of damage, but having the mana up to make Kithion indestructible could be very relevant if they're running Planar Outburst and have that plus a land available to them on the next turn, so we're going to hold back just a little bit here. We'll swing for 7, putting the opponent to 3. And see what they can do. Okay, so it looks like we are not getting outbursted. Let's swing for what should be, ooh, and is not the win here. Okay, we're going to skip attack. Should have perhaps not gotten so confident there and went ahead and played something pre-combat to make our Kithion able to swing and kill this. We will go ahead and play the Lamholt Pacifist, again leaving up mana to make Kithion indestructible. Or not make Kithion able to swing, but make Thalia's Lieutenant unable to swing. Sometimes my brain confuses words and says what I don't actually mean. We're getting Reflector Maged. And you can see here what I was getting at by saying that the game wasn't completely over yet. Let's go ahead, and I think that we can get through some damage here. We will play the Irregulars. That will pump up the Lieutenant and allow us to swing with the Pacifist. It also gives us enough mana to make Kithion indestructible, so we will go ahead and flip Kithion again. Okay, and they are not blocking Kithion, so I don't have to spend the mana on that. Alright, and we will make our Thalia's Lieutenant indestructible and pass the turn, leaving up mana for the Irregulars in case we need to tap down anything on their instep. It appears that we don't, although there may be a Bounding Krasis in our future. Let's go ahead and make Gideon a 4/4 creature, and we will go to combat and swing for what now should be the win. Alright, on to the next one. Okay. So, we're not going to be able to drop Expedition Envoy turn 1, and the rest of our hand doesn't come online to turn 3, and we don't have a third land to even guarantee that, so I think this is a mulligan. This is better. We'll be going Lamholt Pacifist turn 2, which will give us the ground against an aggro deck if necessary until we can get Tireless Tracker online and generating some clues. Looks like we are not perhaps against an aggro deck. As such, I may want to go ahead and drop the Recruiter instead of the Pacifist. Although if Pacifist flips, if they don't manage to cast a spell next turn, that 4/4 body will be invaluable on the attack. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop the Pacifist as I had planned. Then next turn we can drop the Recruiter. We don't want to play the Tireless Tracker on turn 3 and have it get killed before we can play a land and generate at least one clue with it. Looks like Pacifist will not be flipping, Oath of Nissa being cast by the opponent there. Alright, got a land. So it looks like we are up against Jund. Although it could be 4 or 5 color planeswalkers as well. So we could just drop Nissa, which would be a lot more mana efficient for us. I think that's what we're going to do. Play Nissa and fetch out another forest. Thinning our deck just a little bit here. Then seeing what the opponent is trying to do. It's not really evident as of yet. Okay, so they are at least 4 colors. Sorry, they are at least 4 colors, if my tongue will stop twisting up. And seeing as they are 4 colors, they are most likely a planeswalker deck of some sort. Well, let's go ahead and swing before we do anything else. They very well could have a Languish for us next turn, which kind of makes me want to not cast Tireless Tracker, but it will be generating a clue, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take that risk. Play our Canopy Vista there, and see if we get board wiped here. And we are. Okay, hopefully we can come back from this. Alright, Knight of the White Orchid could be helpful. Go ahead and draw a card with this clue here. That's a Castellan. The question is, do I want to play a land so I can play the Castellan? Or just play the Duskwatch Recruiter, which will allow me to get out another land with Knight of the White Orchid next turn if our opponent drops a 5th land. And I think that's what I would rather do at this point, is try to just eke as much card advantage out of my deck as I possibly can against what looks to be a 4-color control deck of some ilk. Okay, there is a 4th land, and our recruiter's getting grasped. I will not say that's fine. I would much rather it had first. I would much rather the recruiter survive there. Well, we're going to play our knight and get a Canopy Vista with it. Yes, I would. Confirm. And we'll go ahead and play out this Citadel Castellan and hope that our opponent is not holding another board wipe. If they are, that's probably game over for us. Having 5 creatures wiped with 2 cards would probably just win them the game. And it's worse than that, because the board wipe is Chandra. We will see what we draw here, but this is most likely just over now. Avacyn helps a lot, actually, so maybe it's not just straight out and out over. Though it's very likely they also have an answer to Avacyn. Something as mundane as another Grasp of Darkness would deal with her fine. Okay, we're going to cast her during combat here. At least limit our opponent's options a little bit. And they do have an answer. I figured that would be the case. Oh, and they are 5 colors. Okay. Explosive, so they're not going to have any trouble casting anything they want to. Yeah, at this juncture, there's really just no coming back in this game for us. They are going to probably just bury us with Planeswalkers from here on out. Okay, getting sixed by Chandra again here. If they have anything at all, we've only got one more turn to generate something here. Jace joins the team. Looks like he's scrying and drawing. And it looks like that they may not be able to finish us off this next turn. Well, it doesn't help that we're continuing to draw lands, but that's not what got us. the 2 board wipes were what sealed this game up for the opponent. Alright, going to 2 here. And a Nahiri. So ticking up. And does choose to discard and draw. There's really literally nothing that we can draw right now that's going to do anything to help us here. That is game. And just in the interest of saving a little time, I'm going to go ahead and concede. Hopefully the next game will go a little bit better than this one. Okay. I am perfectly happy keeping this. Hopefully we can get things going a bit better and not get wiped off the face of the earth in this one like we did in the last game. That does happen occasionally. Probably should have held the tireless tracker back. I don't know that it would have made a difference, but it definitely could have. We'll start off with a Duskwatch Recruiter here. See what our opponent does. Will dictate what we are doing on the next turn. It will be either another Recruiter or a Rabid Bite. Most likely going to be a Rabid Bite. We will, however, attack first and see if they'll just chump with Jace. Almost certainly they won't, but we'll give them the opportunity. We also could wait on the Rabid Bite and just play the Citadel Castellan, in which case we'd be hoping to draw a 4th land so that we could Duskwatch and Thalia's Lieutenant next turn. I think I am going to hold off on removing Jace for now. We'll drop the Citadel Castellan. Jace does give them card filtering and such, but he's not a real threat until he flips into his Planeswalker form there. Discarding a Green Warden. Probably has black in the deck then, with some reanimation. Either that, or they're very, very tight on lands. Okay, so they are at least Teamer colors, and we didn't draw a 4th mana. However, Thalia's Lieutenant is still an excellent play here. It will allow both of these to swing, and if blocked, to kill this Erdwall Illuminator. Oops. Clicked twice there by accident. Yeah, Erdwall Illuminator. Always feel like I'm mispronouncing that name. And they do choose to chump block there. So we may be getting Radiant Flames here. Although that would eliminate Jace as well for the opponent. Doesn't seem to be the case. So we probably should, above anything else, be removing Jace this turn, so that he cannot flip next turn. Okay, Thopter Spy Network. This is a build of deck that I have not seen at all. So that's quite interesting. We're going to play this Duskwatch Recruiter, pumping our Thalia's Lieutenant. And then we are going to Rabid Bite. Oops. Choosing them backward. Rabid Bite Jace. Swinging for 8. Putting our opponent to 7. Taking our Castellan into the renowned status. So even if they have a Radiant Flames here, we still have a very significant threat on board. There is the Radiant Flames. And nothing to follow up the flames from them. I guess we'll go ahead and play this Lieutenant here. It is resolving, so we will try to put our opponent to 1. Nice at this moment to be holding 2 Declaration Stones in hand. Should help us to force through that last point of damage. And I don't know what it is, it just feels like I'm having a real effort. I don't know what it is, but it feels like I'm having a real problem verbalizing today. Just tripping over words. Okay, Westvale Abbey can make a cleric. And they killed themselves. Fair enough. And that will be it for this episode of Friday Night Magic, friends. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like below. It really does help. Your support means the world to me. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. You will be notified whenever I upload new content. And until next time, be excellent to each other.